Today is Tuesday, September 3rd. Welcome back from the holiday weekend. We are catching you up on a lot today, including Hurricane Dorian. We'll talk about where it's already done a lot of damage and what's expected next. And there's another mass shooting to tell you about. Plus, we have some fun stuff, too. A record-breaking number of home runs, Facebook is thinking about hiding the number of likes, and the American Idol of Netflix. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in less than 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. We start today with an update about Hurricane Dorian. It absolutely devastated the Bahamas over the weekend, and now hurricane watches and warnings are in effect in Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina, as the storm is likely heading in that direction next. First, let's talk about what's already happened. The AP reports at least 5 people are reported dead in the Bahamas because of this storm, and 13,000 homes are destroyed. Dorian hit the Bahamas as a Category 5 storm. That is the strongest type of hurricane there is. And then it stopped and pretty much sat over the islands for a while. People there have had to deal with 185-mile-per-hour winds and wind gusts that are even stronger and catastrophic storm surges. The U.S. Coast Guard is helping with rescues, and the Prime Minister of the Bahamas is calling this a historic tragedy. It's the most powerful hurricane on record to hit the Bahamas, and it ties the record set in 1935 for the most powerful storms to hit land anywhere in the Atlantic. As of early this morning, the storm is back down to a Category 4, but that's still strong. And up next, it's supposed to move towards the U.S. mainland. But forecasters don't think it will hit the U.S. directly. They think Dorian will move up the Atlantic, staying just off the coast of Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas. But that does not mean the coast is clear for those areas. Any slight change in the hurricane's path could mean it lands right on Florida's east coast. Either way, with the storm dangerously close, some areas could still see hurricane-force winds and rain. Officials are not taking any chances. There are watches and warnings in effect, and some mandatory evacuations are already in place. President Trump has declared a state of emergency for some areas. And when it comes to travel, there were already more than 1,000 flights in and out of the U.S. that were canceled over the weekend, mostly in Florida, and that number will likely go up as the storm gets closer. Unfortunately, we have another mass shooting to tell you about. This one spanned 2 towns in West Texas, Midland, and Odessa. CNN reports it all started Saturday with a routine traffic stop, but it led to an officer shot and injured, then a high-speed police chase with the gunman shooting people at random from his car. He even hijacked a mail truck and started driving that around during the shootings. In all, 7 people died, ranging in age from 15 to 57. More than 20 others were hurt. The New York Times says there were 15 crime scenes scattered along highways and shopping malls, and ultimately, police killed the 36-year-old shooter. They're still working to figure out this guy's motive, but so far we know the gunman was just fired from his job. NBC News reports he called both 911 and the FBI's tip line before the shooting, complaining and rambling about getting fired, but he never actually made any threats. Also, authorities say it's not clear yet if he bought the assault-style rifle he used legally. In the past, he had reportedly failed a background check for a firearm, but investigators aren't providing a lot of details about that. President Trump called the gunman a very sick person and thanked police and emergency workers for doing an incredible job. And already in the neighboring towns where this happened, USA Today reports teens from rival high schools came together for a memorial, and they're planning a fundraising event in a few weeks. And one more tragedy to tell you about from over the weekend. A commercial scuba diving boat caught fire in Southern California, and it turned deadly. The LA Times reports 39 people were on board. Most of them were asleep below the deck when the fire happened. Some crew members were able to survive, but as of early this morning, the AP reports at least 25 people are dead, and some are still missing. No word yet on what caused this fire, but the ship's captain says the boat was in compliance and had no prior violations. Expect updates today. The protests in Hong Kong have now turned into a 2-day strike from school. The BBC reports 10,000 students from 200 different schools did not show up for their first day of classes of the new school year. Many held a large rally instead. And before that, over the weekend, there were more violent protests. These are more signs that the unrest there in Hong Kong is not stopping anytime soon. This has been going on for months already. It started over a bill that would send suspected criminals to mainland China to stand trial, and it turned into a bigger concern about Hong Kong losing its independence and needing reform. Hong Kong has a special status in China. It's basically known as one country, two systems, so Hong Kong has its own legal system and right to free speech. Still, it seems the government in mainland China is getting fed up. The world is watching to see if they'll intervene. To be continued. All right, it's definitely time to lighten things up a bit. So let's get into a little sports news. It's being called one of the biggest upsets at the 2019 U.S. Open. Naomi Osaka is ranked number 1 in the world and won the U.S. Open last year, while ESPN says she just lost yesterday to 13th-seeded Belinda Bencic, who will now move on to the quarterfinals. Serena Williams is still in the U.S. Open as well, and if she can win the tournament, she'll tie for the most major titles ever. And speaking of records, in Major League Baseball, the Minnesota Twins broke a record over the weekend. CBS Sports reports they beat the all-time record for the most home runs within just one season. The team hit 268 home runs so far. That beats the Yankees' record of 267. And there's still at least a month left in the season. And we have several more stories still ahead, but first let's take a quick break to thank this week's sponsor. With M.M.LaFleur, you can stop wasting time and decision-making energy shopping for the perfect work clothes or standing in your closet in the morning rush trying to figure out what to wear to the office. M.M.LaFleur makes it easy with thoughtful, versatile, and stylish clothing all from one place. Their collection features machine-washable fabrics, adjustable hems, deep pockets, and suits that are designed to be packable. And if you're not sure what to choose, their award-winning newsletter includes styling tips and career advice in one. And you can reach out to the company's stylist to help you create your ideal work wardrobe anytime. Their goal is to take the work out of dressing for work. And right now, new customers can get $25 toward their first purchase with the code NEWSWORTHY. Just visit mmlafleur.com/newsworthy for more details and to get that $25 gift. That's mmlafleur.com, mmlafleur.com/newsworthy. Now, back to the news. Facebook is now thinking about hiding how many likes a post gets, similar to what we've talked about before, but with Instagram. Facebook confirmed to TechCrunch that this is not live yet, but it could be tested in the future. Users would still be able to see some of the reaction emojis on a post and maybe a couple of friends who reacted to it, but an actual number would not show up. The goal is to take some of the pressure away when it comes to getting a lot of likes for your posts and try to stop users from deleting posts if they didn't get as many likes as they wanted. For now, Facebook hasn't started this, but remember, Facebook-owned Instagram is already testing this in several countries, including Canada, Australia, and Brazil. The Samsung Galaxy Fold phone may finally make its way to customers. You know, the foldable phone that had some issues a few months ago? Well, Engadget says you can now pre-register to buy the phone, which could mean it will be coming out later this month. The nearly $2,000 phone was supposed to go on sale in April, but Samsung pushed that back because of breaking screens and other problems. Rumor has it the phone will launch on Friday, but that's not yet confirmed. And speaking of some problems, Apple announced a new repair program for some Apple Watches. The Verge says some may have issues with screens cracking, so Apple says it'll replace the screens on eligible models for free. At the same time, there are some new rumors about a new feature coming to the Apple Watch. 9to5Mac reports there will be new sleep tracking features about time and quality of sleep, as well as new alarm features. It's all expected to be announced at Apple's event next week. It was a scary weekend for comedian Kevin Hart. He was in a car accident and had major back injuries because of it, but he's reportedly going to be okay. Hart's car was involved in the crash, but he wasn't driving. Other stars took to social media to wish him a speedy recovery. Dwayne Johnson wrote, "We have a lot more laughing to do. Stay strong." Coming soon to Netflix, its first music competition series. Deadline says it's called Rhythm and Flow, and it's a search for the next hip-hop sensation. Cardi B, Chance the Rapper, and T.I. are the judges, and they'll travel to places like LA, New York, and Chicago to find undiscovered artists. The show will debut in October, and unlike most Netflix shows that release entire seasons all at once, this show will have only a few episodes released each week. It premieres October 9th. No major movies debuted over the weekend, so Angel Has Fallen easily topped the holiday weekend box office. Variety says it's pretty standard for studios to avoid rolling out major titles over the Labor Day weekend. Labor Day marks the end of the summer movie season, and right now ticket sales are 2% behind this time last year. And on the music charts, Taylor Swift broke another record. Her new album, Lover, topped the charts, and now Billboard says she's the first female artist to have 6 different albums each sell 500,000 copies in a week. The only other singer to do that is Eminem. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening and for sharing the show. As always, you can read more about any of the news stories we talked about today in your podcast app or over on thenewsworthy.com/show notes. The Newsworthy is ready for you to listen every weekday by 4 in the morning, so I'll be back with more news tomorrow. Have a great day.